Alright, what is up, you guys? I'm here continuing the WrestleMania reviews with WrestleMania 23. This is one I used to watch a lot. And, this is actually one of the first DVDs I ever bought for my collection, the 2-disc edition. Now I have the 3-disc edition, and I also have the limited edition tin. But, presentation-wise for this pay-per-view, we'll go over that first. I think it's one of my favorite stages they've ever done. I just think it was so cool. And, this was the tail end of the Ruthless Aggression era. So, I love that era. You know me. So, this was overall a good WrestleMania. So, we'll go over the Hall of Fame. We had Nick Bockwinkel, the Wild Samoans, the Original Sheik, Mr. Fuji, Jim Ross, Jerry the King Lawler, Mr. Perfect, and then Dusty Rhodes. So, if you ever get a chance, get this DVD. Look at that list of extras right there. That is what a DVD should look like. As opposed to now, where we just get the kickoff match and then we're done. So, we did have a pre-show match, if you want to call it that. It was, should be on here. Yeah, Carlito and Ric Flair versus Gregory Helms and Chavo Guerrero. This is a lumberjack match. Just a way to get everyone on the card, basically. Get that WrestleMania payday. It's your average match. Nothing real special. But it is kind of cool to see Ric Flair and Carlito team up. It's just kind of just a strange team there. And then we had Aretha Franklin. As we all know, at WrestleMania 3, she performed America the Beautiful, so they had her come back to do that now. And that was kind of the whole gimmick here. 20 years later, all grown up, that was the tagline here. But, just pretty meaningful event when it comes to that. So the opening match, we had the 8-man Money in the Bank ladder match. Jeff Hardy, King Booker, Finlay, CM Punk, Mr. Kennedy, Matt Hardy, Randy Orton, and Edge. I love when they start WrestleMania off with the Money in the Bank ladder match. To me, that is a great way to open the show. And this was a great match. I said 24 is my favorite Money in the Bank ladder match. This is a close second. I love this Money in the Bank ladder match. You had the Jeff Hardy high spot on Edge. You had just the finishers over and over again. Like, you had Spears. I think you had the King Booker's Spinebusters, RKOs, and we had, CM Punk's WrestleMania debut here. And we had Mr. Kennedy, who back then was the internet darling at the time. And, I'm a Mr. Kennedy fan, so that was cool to see him win that. And that just went to shit anyway. So, yeah, still a great match. And then we had Kane versus Great Khali, the interpromotional match. This was good. They tried a little too hard to bring in the See No Evil gimmick where he got the hook out from under the ring. They tried to replicate Hogan slamming Andre, which, it was a cool moment and everything, but, they were high on Great Khali at the time, so they had him win. So, yeah, it's just your average big man match. It kind of just resembles a little bit Undertaker and Giant Gonzalez, except for the ending, of course. So it's just not all that great. And then we had the United States Championship match, Chris Benoit versus MVP. I enjoyed this. I'm a huge Chris Benoit fan. I always will be, no matter what. And, MVP I actually liked back then as well. I thought he was a really good heel, and he was a little something different. And this was a bit of a, looking back, a bit of a dream match between these two. They had a really good 2 out of 3 falls match. I think it was at Backlash they had that. Or no, it might have been Judgment Day. It's one of those two. But, this was a great little rivalry they had. And, I don't think it was necessarily their best match together, but it was really good. It's good to see the United States title actually being defended at a WrestleMania, because, it's just especially now, you don't really get that very often now. So, Chris Benoit fan all the way. So this was just a cool match for me personally, and overall a good match. And then we had, for some reason already, the World Heavyweight Championship match, Batista versus The Undertaker. It's the fourth match in. I know Batista was upset about the placement on the card, and I would be too. Like, this was a big match at the time. Batista was on top of SmackDown. You had The Undertaker, the leader of SmackDown, so to say. And, for a better part of their careers, they were always kept separate. So to see them finally clashing is just awesome. And I just don't understand. I think you should have had this before the WWE title match. And quite honestly, to me, this was match of the night. This could have been the main event. Add 10 more minutes, that could have been your main event. This was a great match. You had a really cool announce table spot. Some near falls. And, I love just the selling of the near falls, too. Because a lot of the times, it's like Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. When they would have near falls, they'd be shocked that the other person kicked out. And it's important to sell little things like that. So that was commendable. And the crowd was into this, and this was great. I love this match. And I know not everyone here is a Batista fan, but this was one of those matches where he did stand tall. Like, you can't talk shit about him for this match. And then we had the ECW Originals versus the New Breed. I actually enjoyed this. I know I probably shouldn't, being a fan of the original ECW, and the WWE ECW was basically a slap in the face. But I liked this. It was, you had Sabu in there, you had Sandman. Like, I love the Sandman. How cool is it to see the Sandman in 2007? It's not even like he was that big of a technical wrestler anyway, so it's not really like they could make him look like garbage. So, this was kind of just one of those moments where you get to see everyone again. Tommy Dreamer at WrestleMania, come on. It was a very fast-paced match. Matt Striker's always great. He's a great seller, comedic selling, and overall, I enjoyed this one. Like I said, I probably shouldn't have. It wasn't the best match in the world, but just from an entertainment standpoint, it was cool. How often do you see people come out through the crowd at WrestleMania? That was cool. I mean, now you have the Shield, but still. Back then, not very often. Next up, we have the Battle of the Billionaires, hair versus hair match. Bobby Lashley representing Donald Trump versus Umaga representing Mr. McMahon with Stone Cold as the special guest referee. I've said it before and I'll say it again. My biggest pet peeve in wrestling is when celebrities get involved. I hate this, like, with a passion. WrestleMania, to me, you have your biggest show of the year. That's when the superstars shine. That's when the wrestlers show what they're capable of. It just angers me when you leave people off in place of a big celebrity match. And no, this isn't political, because I'm sure people will be saying I'm hating on this because of Donald Trump. I am the least political person here. I hate politics. I stay away from it as much as I can. So, no, this isn't political. Being president doesn't mean shit to me. I don't know. I know this was a huge selling point of the pay-per-view. I get that. This was a very well-bought pay-per-view. This broke records at the time. So, it is what it is. It wasn't like some 30-minute match. I'm a huge Umaga fan. I'm not a Bobby Lashley fan. So the match itself was just kind of like tomfoolery. It's just like back and forth stupid shit happening. So it wasn't really that much of a match. It was just antics, basically. So then we had the Women's Championship Lumberjill match. Ashley versus Melina. back then, I was an Ashley fan, but looking back, I kind of realized, yeah, she's not the best. And obviously, neither is Melina. So this one was just there to put the women on the card. Not a great match at all, very short, and just kind of meaningless, to be honest. And then we have the WWE Championship, Shawn Michaels versus John Cena. I found that a lot of people kind of underestimate this match. I feel like it's a little underrated, just because maybe it's John Cena. This is a really good match. And if I had to give it like a star rating, I'd say it's easily 4 out of 5 stars. But, you know, you had, of course, some pretty good spots. You had something you'd never see now. We had a pile driver on the steel steps, which I don't know if Cena was actually cut from that or he bladed. I'm pretty sure he was just cut the hard way from that, because it was a pretty nasty spot. And then you had Shawn Michaels blading, of course. John Cena was selling the ankle. And, yeah, this was a good psychological WrestleMania main event. I enjoyed this. You know, you might disagree with who won, but at the time it kind of made sense. This was supposed to be Triple H versus John Cena. But then, of course, Triple H, I think he tore his quad at New Year's Revolution. So, yeah, Triple H was supposed to, you know, face him in a rematch here from WrestleMania 22 and win the title, which they then did at Night of Champions 2008. So this was kind of a placeholder match, to be honest. So, you know, but it was a good placeholder match. So overall letter grade here, I'm going to give this show, I'm going to give it a B. A lot of entertaining, you know, matches here. Some good matches too. You know, we had World Heavyweight title, WWE title, Money in the Bank was great. You know, you had Benoit MVP. You know, you had some bullshit here and there, but still, a lot of effort was put in on this show, and you gotta give them credit for that. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a B. Let me know down below what your grade would be. And for now, this has been the DVD Freak. Peace out.